Alright guys, you know the deal. We got another A24 horror film. It's time to talk X. Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So today we're going to be talking about A24's latest horror film, X. This is directed by Ty West, and it features a cast of Jenna Ortega, Mia Goth, Brittany Snow, Martin Henderson, and Kid Cudi, as I'm going to refer to him in this video because it's just going to make it easier. So let's go ahead and talk about this thing. It's not going to have any spoilers in it, so you don't have to worry about it. I know the movie just came out last night, so again, don't have to worry about spoilers. So without further ado, let's talk X. In 1979, a group of young filmmakers set out to make an adult film in rural Texas. But when their reclusive, elderly hosts catch them in the act, the cast soon find themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. So X was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. You know, one, it's a horror movie, the trailer looked fantastic, and it's from A24. Now, for the most part, I like a lot of what A24 puts out. You know, I think they're a great studio. That's where, you know, I discovered Anya Taylor-Joy and The Witch. They've had some fantastic movies over the year, and I know they can be kind of divisive with some people. Some people don't really care for them because they put out a lot of, you know, slow burners, a lot of art house, you know, type of movies, and that can be a little divisive. But I was really looking forward to this, and we're going to talk about if that film, you know, met my expectations. So we're going to start things off by, you know, mentioning things that I liked. So with this movie, it opens up and you actually get to see the aftermath of what happened with the events of the past 24 hours. Now, I've seen this done before with other films. Sometimes it can be kind of hit and miss. I think with this approach for this particular film, though, I think it did a really good job of just kind of setting that atmosphere and that expectations, and you just know you're about to see some really messed up shit, you know, for the rest of the hour and 45-minute runtime. This movie, so it's a period piece. This takes place, if you guys, you know, haven't seen the trailer, it takes place in 1979, and it's definitely a throwback to those 70s, 80s horror slasher movies. I think they do a really good job of capturing that aesthetic. And for me, you know, right from the trailer, but, you know, as soon as, like, going into this movie, you get those, for me, I got that Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes to it, which is something that I really appreciated because I think that's what they were going for, and I think they completely nailed it with, you know, this movie. Now, the first half of this film, it's definitely more of a build-up to it, where the second half is where you get, you know, all the payoff, which I think they do a great job with, by the way. But it's definitely more of a build-up. It's a slow burn type of horror film. So if you guys are not a fan of that kind of style, I love slow burn, you know, horror movies for the most part. So I was like, okay, cool. I am totally, you know, down for this. But if you guys are not a fan of that, just want to give you a heads up. It definitely has a slow build up and then things kind of get crazy in the second half of the movie. But I think even with the build up, you know, earlier on in the movie, between the sound design in this movie, I thought was fantastic. You know, there's moments where you hear, you know, crickets, you hear, you know, different animals making noises, and then sometimes the sound will just kind of completely cut out. And I thought that was really effective. From that to the haunting, you know, incredibly creepy score, I just felt like it really did a good job of building, you know, this atmosphere, making you feel uneasy. And for me, it kind of transported you to that time and made you feel like you were right there with these characters. So that was one of the biggest things that I really enjoyed about X. Some of the editing, too, I thought was top-notch. So there were some moments throughout this film where, and without going into spoilers, that West would have cuts back and forth between these different things happening. And just the way that he did that, for some reason, it really kind of made me uneasy. The ways that he used those shots. There's a lot of wide shots, and he lets things kind of play out too. Some scenes will really kind of like drag on, and for this movie I think that worked really well. There's one scene in particular, without going into too much details, that there is a aerial view of a pond, and that particular scene, I watched this movie with my buddy, and I was just sitting there and I was like, shit. And there's a great payoff with that whole sequence later on in the movie. But yeah, I mean, like the editing, just overall, the directing, the cinematography in this film, I thought was top notch. Really great, did a great job of creating that atmosphere, you know, creating that tension, and it just goes throughout the whole entire film. So, and sometimes you'll even see, you'll see certain characters walking around, doing different things, and you'll slowly see that there's maybe something going on behind them. And I thought that was really effective as well. And so with these characters, the movie starts out and they are basically trying to make a porno. But the catch is, they're not just trying to make any kind of, regular like porno. They're trying to make the most artistic porno that they possibly can, which definitely lends to some laughs in this movie. I wouldn't say it's like a complete horror comedy, but there is definitely some great laughs throughout the film that I thought were sprinkled throughout the movie, perfectly. There wasn't too much to kind of take you out of the film, but there was some really well-timed laughs that I appreciated, and a lot of the people in the audience, laughed at as well. It's always kind of awkward sometimes where you have that and it's in a scene where things are really serious, but I think the way that they played it out, it worked out perfectly. So the first half of the movie, kind of focuses on that aspect, but it was cool for me because I'm just a big fan of movies and filmmaking in general. They kind of try and focus on the filmmaking aspect of making a porno, but just like making a film in general. And so I guess I was a little more like invested in that too. So if you guys, are fans of just like the filmmaking process, you might kind of find that fascinating like I did. So that was something that kind of kept me invested in the first half of the movie too. As far as this cast goes, I really enjoyed everyone. I thought they did a great job. For standouts for me, for sure, are definitely going to be Jenna Ortega. She killed it. She's been killing it, and that is a pun well intended. So far, this year she's had Scream, she's had The Fallout, and she's had X. I'll give you guys kind of a heads up, what I think of this movie, but 3 of my favorite movies of this year, so far. So she's had a fantastic year. Mia Goth, I thought she was great as well. And Kid Cudi, I don't know if he's done other films. I haven't seen him in any other films, I believe, but he was actually pretty impressive. And not, and I know I'm probably going to regret this, and not in the way, once you watch the movie, you're going to be like, oh, he was impressive. No, not in that way. But as far as his acting performance goes, I thought he did a great job. All right, guys, so when you get to the second half of this movie, that's when shit really kind of hits the fan. So like I was saying, the first half of this film, you get more of a build-up, with these characters. The second half is when everything starts happening, and, that's when you get the payoff. And I think they do a good job of building that up and having that payoff. Like, there is actually a payoff in this movie. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, is this the scariest movie of all time? Because sometimes with, these like A24, some of these like elevated horror films, when they come out, I feel like there was like a lot of hype where people are like, oh my God, it's the scariest movie that I've ever seen. I'm not going to be able to sleep, after watching this. And I'm going to say pump the brakes a little bit. By no means, I think, is this, the scariest movie of all time. Because I've seen a ton of horror movies up to this point in my life. It takes a lot to really kind of freak me out. Now, while I'm saying it's not the scariest movie of all time, is this movie creepy as fuck? Yes. I think they do a great job as far as just throughout the film, really, really, really creepy. There's a couple moments where there was a few jump scares that really actually got me because I was so invested, watching this film that they really got me. But I would say it being creepy, and there's just some really disturbing imagery in this movie. There's a couple scenes that I'm thinking off the top of my head right now that watching the film, I was just like, what am I watching right now? That the one, you guys are going to know exactly when you see this film what I'm talking about. There's that one, and then the one that takes place before with these two characters that was just like, oh my God. Like, I wasn't to the point of puking. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit there, but it definitely made my skin crawl a little bit. So I thought, as far as that goes, throughout the film, they were able to, create that atmosphere, create that tension. And there are some moments that are not even really bloody because this film does have a good, I would say, pretty good amount of gore throughout it. It's not the bloodiest thing, again, that I've seen of all time, but its own fair share of gore in there, and it's used really effectively. But honestly, for me, some of the stuff that creeped me out or kind of like made me squirm a little bit was stuff that it's just really disturbing imagery, and you guys will know what I'm talking about after you watch the movie. The biggest thing for me, though, like I kind of mentioned earlier on in the review, is just the way that this movie was able to transport you back, feeling like you were there, feeling like you were in the 70s. I thought that the atmosphere, just the way that this thing was shot was top notch. You know, it felt like everything, just like that aesthetic, it felt so real. And so when you do, I feel like when you do a good job of establishing that, you know, you have characters that you're at least, you know, somewhat invested in, and you're able to throw in some like kind of those, you know, those jump scares. Like I said, I did jump a couple of times and I didn't think that was going to happen. So there was a couple moments that actually caught me off guard. And I think it's because, you know, I cared about these characters. So overall, I think just with the atmosphere, just that vibe, I think that's the part, and the score too. I thought it came out today. I went to go look for it, and it's not out yet. There's like the one track, which I believe is at the end of the movie. It hasn't come out yet, but I'm definitely going to be downloading that score as soon as it comes out, because every time that music was playing, I like looked over my buddy a couple times and I was like, man, I am really digging this score. So 2 thumbs up as far as that goes. And I'm going to give you guys a heads up because I didn't fucking know this and I'm pissed because I sat through most of the credits just because the way that the movie ends, well, you know, it was cool. So I was sitting there for most of it. I was like, oh, you know, it's A24. Like there probably isn't an end credit scene. And I'm just like, damn it, Marvel, you know, I should have listened, you know, because I found out, I guess there is apparently like an end credit scene. So I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. So I'm probably going to go see the movie again. So I'll make sure to stay this time. But I guess, actually, I won't go into details because that could possibly be a spoiler. So just stay for the end credits of the movie. Overall, guys, I was really anticipating X, and for me, it exceeded those expectations. Ty West does a good job of paying tribute to those 70s and 80s slasher films from the past, while delivering a bloody good time with X that is also able to stand on its own. So as far as the score goes, I'm going to give this an 8.7 out of 10. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It is only playing in theaters right now, so I highly recommend you guys check it out. And of course, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this movie. So if you guys have seen it, definitely let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts were overall. And I also want to hear, what is your favorite horror film from A24 up to this point? Let me know down below in the comments. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Please give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.